He was stuck at the far end of the tunnel, and he was very cross. I'm a plain, blunt engine. I speak as I find. Tunnels should be tunnels and not rabbit holes. This railway is no good at all. Don't rock and roll. It took a long time to clear away the rocks and set Duncan free again. Attention to Duncan's funnel. Look at him right now. What's that about me? I'm a plain engine, and I believe in plain speaking. Tell me what to do. Duncan banged about the yard. Then he clattered crossly to this. James was already there, waiting for him. I know, said Duncan. It's that smelly diesel's fault. Then goes off leaving me to find one and ordered us about. He climbed the hill furiously. Driver, keep it up. Sleepers and ballast, I'm off. And he was. This afternoon, we must get the ice cream ready for the passenger. But Duncan did mind. It isn't fair, he complained. Peter Sam gets a special funnel, Sir Handel gets special wheels, passengers get ice cream, but I'm not even polished. Of course, this wasn't true, but Duncan enjoyed complaining. He became sulkier still. Duncan's driver. All this extra work, grumbled Duncan. It wears an engine out. I get no rest, I get no rest, he muttered. Duncan made the journey very difficult. He was short of steam, so his driver waited a while in the hope of raising more. But Duncan wouldn't try. Duncan was cross. You always think about the passengers and never about me. It wasn't long before Duncan built up enough steam to set off again. But he was still very grumpy and cross. I'm overworked and I won't stand it. It's the viaduct near the station. Keep your old station. I'm staying here. And he did, too. Skarloey had to haul Duncan. The passengers were furious. Sir Topham Hatt spoke to Duncan. No passengers means no polish, and no polish means no passengers, Duncan muttered to himself. He still has a lot to learn, doesn't he? Duncan would not stop grumbling. He grumbled that he wasn't polished enough. He grumbled that he was overworked. Most of all, he grumbled about the passengers. I'm ashamed of you, Duncan, said Skarloey. Thank goodness Rheneas is coming home soon. Perhaps he'll teach you some sense before it's too late. What has Rheneas to do with me? Huffed Duncan. He had stopped on a viaduct and hadn't cared at all. Wrong place once, and this is what happened.
Ghosts. Things that go bump in the night. Rubbish. If we don't go now, Skarloey will take my favorite place in the
Duncan doesn't like working at the incline railway. He has hoped Duncan would stay out of trouble today. But he was already in too much of a hurry. I'm a plain-speaking engine, gruffed Duncan. So collect your slate cars and be quick about it. Faster. You're supposed to be helping me, he grumbled. But you're as slow as snails. Then work faster, said Duncan, impatient. Duncan chuffed away in a big huff. He was They're jealous of my fine whistle, Duncan huffed. Bah, said Duncan. I need to whistle louder and longer next time. As Duncan delivered his freight cars, the headmaster tooted the organ at every crossing and every stop. It alerted everyone just as well as Duncan didn't think so. Finally, Duncan finished delivering the last of his freight cars. As the headmaster played the organ. Do you think so? Said Duncan, cheering up a bit.
Duncan was feeling impatient. Get a move on, slow coach, he puffed crossly to Russ. Luckily, nobody was hurt. How would you know? Wished Duncan. You're only a diesel. And he puffed crossly away. He didn't even wait for his coal. Meanwhile, Duncan needed more coal to get home. But when he arrived at the coal bunker, it was empty. Bother, I won't get home without more coal. Where's the nearest bunker? I'm out of steam. He had used up all his coal. At that moment, Thomas chuffed into the transfer yards with the bandstand. This made Duncan cross. How about a wee contest, chuffed Duncan. I bet I can take more coal to the villages faster than you can deliver it. James was waiting for him. I told you mainline engines were the fastest, teased James. One afternoon, Duncan arrived at the wharf. He had to collect freight cars of straw. More loads of straw, he wished. Duncan was fed up. I've been doing the same job all day long, grumbled Duncan. Collecting silly straw and taking it up to the farms in the hills. I want to do something more exciting. Duncan had to wait for them. He wished he had something to do to pass the time.
You said you'd bring the best present of all.
Fell all over Skarloey. Duncan was cross.
Oh, sorry, Duncan, but I must get the puppet show.
Duncan, the narrow-gauge engine, pulls passenger coaches. He takes people to work every morning.
How am I? I'll tell you how I am. I've got an E. I already did. But Victor told me there was nothing wrong with it. Typical. Have you seen the track at Krosny-Karen? Don't ask Mr. Percival, because he says nothing. But every time I pass through, my rivets rattle and my funnel shakes. And now look at my wobble. Up it all, I've this one passenger who's always grumbling and complaining.
Well, you are...
Oh, don't you start.
Duncan was an engine. Duncan's grumpy passenger He complained when Duncan went too slow.
Come on! What's the hold-up? Too fast.
I have a very grumpy passenger, Peter Sam. He's never happy, even though he's got nothing to complain about. If it's not true now, I'll soon make sure it is.
The depot to pick up some extra coaches.
Oh, Duncan, what are you doing?
I'm picking up some extra coaches for tonight. Everyone. None of my passengers will have any reason to... Oh, no! Warning flags! If I slow down, there's going to be complaints from that passenger. Hey, but one of my passengers is going to be very grumpy indeed if he misses his train.
Duncan was trying to make up for lost time.
Can't be late. I can't hear any more complaints. So that grumpy passenger, sir. All right, I'm going. Stop grumbling indeed. I knew this would happen. Why do people always think it's me who's always grumbling?
Except Duncan. He didn't like Christmas one bit.
Bah, humbug. Hello, Rheneas. Don't you just hate these cold winter mornings? It takes so long to get a steamer. Points are frozen at the junction. That means even more hanging about.
Oh no, pretty slow.
Well, not so great as you can see. I very nearly had an accident. I've used up all my sand. I expect there's none left at the depot either.
Morning, Duncan. Isn't this great? It's busy, and everyone's so happy.
Well, it's all right for some. All these extra... On we go. Finally.
As Duncan went on his way,
Bah, humbug. All the snow and sand.
Sir Topham Hatt is giving us all a fresh coat of paint for the winter.
Typical. Trust the standard gauge engines to get special treatment.
But Mr. Percival's had the same idea. There's a new coat of paint for us narrow gauge engines too.
A fresh coat of paint. And not before time. With all the work I have to do, picking up extra passengers, remember that's just the way I am. And you can like it or not. Ah, I see. Well...
Ah, hello there, Duncan. Everything all right?
the gates were frozen. Duncan didn't like it at all. He was about to give them a blast from his whistle when Rusty came aloof, who was struggling up a slippery slope.
But for sake, Luke, what's the hold-up?
Sorry, Duncan. I can't go on because my wheels keep slipping on the icy track.
Can't you just grit it up with a little sand?
Duncan realized. Duncan was a little sad.
Bah, humbug.